Hello, Naman. Welcome. How are you doing?
I'm well, sir. Thank you.
Right. So, Naman, I've gone through your profile. Firstly, congratulations for making it this far into the PI round. How are
Thank
you
you, sir.
feeling about it?
I am feeling well. I'm hopeful.
Great, great, super. So, Naman, can you let's start with a basic introduction. Can you tell me about yourself?
Okay, sir. So, my name is Naman Vashesh, and I'm a resident of Faridabad, the city that is home to India's oldest Paleolithic site. Uh, I studied PCM in my class 12th. I have keen interest in management and debate competitions. I have been a part of several debate competitions, and I have also organized several myself. Uh, I also have interest in geopolitics and Indian polity, and I have closely followed the recent Indian general elections. Thank you, and I look forward to the remainder of this interview.
Right. Superb. On the personal front, Naman, what do you think are your interests?
My interests lie in the basically, I love to debate, I love to organize events, management, I love to stay updated with the news. I have keen interest in Indian politics, especially, and the geopolitics as well. I also like to read books when I'm free.
Right. Super. So now that you've caught my attention talking about the Indian politics and geopolitics, let's see if you can name me three instances that have happened in the past 6 months that is going to change how the youth is going to look into politics.
Okay, sir. So,
You can take a couple of seconds. Top three, anything that is off the top of your mind.
okay, sir. So, three events that have happened in the last 6 months. I think the arrest of Mr. Kejriwal, uh, the Supreme Court's ruling on the electoral bonds, and I cannot think of anything else.
Right. Okay. So let's talk a little further on your first point, right? The arrest of Delhi's Chief Minister, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. How is that going to affect the youth in Indian politics?
So, the arrest was based on the alleged liquor scam that could affect the opinion of the Indian youth on first the party, the Aam Aadmi Party in general, and the the agenda that was put forward by the Aam Aadmi Party against the arrest that could also sway the youth in favor of them and against the BJP.
Okay. So it's in general. So you're saying it. So this isn't specifically pertaining to the youth, am I right? You're talking
Yes,
about in general how the people's opinion would change.
yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. What do you think should youth even come into the politics? Like considering India, what should be the age at which youth should brought in into the politics?
Maturity and experience is definitely uh, well appreciated in the and needed in the Indian politics. But the interests of youth are also needed to be represented at a larger level. So I would say the average age of new politicians, youth representing politicians should be around 25 to 30 years old. Before that, one is still learning from college and other
Hmm.
places.
Right. Right.
25 to 30 would be the
Nice. So Naman, let's consider that we do have, uh, we have uh, let's call it this way. We have president elections in the student representative president elections in our college as well. So would you be more interested towards that, or would you be more interested towards attending classes and learning and growing in that area?
Learning through the normal education, the classes, curriculum would be my most important aim. But also participating in these activities will also provide me some of the better or some of the most important experiences of my life as well. So I would definitely be a part of them whilst not uh, compromising on my education,
Okay,
class-based.
okay. Mm. That's good. That's a very good answer now. In continuation, Naman, do you think politics is a full-time job or a part-time job?
It is a full-time job.
Right. So, don't you think now you are contradicting your own statement that my major aim is going to be learning, and then I'm also going to be a part of that? And that's basically a contradiction of your own opinion. Wouldn't that be the case, Naman?
That would be true, but uh, the student council that the IM Rohtak has will require my attention to some extent, and I will dedicate my time towards it. Definitely, I will work hard for it as well. But I know my first goal is to focus on the curriculum and to ensure that I am not lagging behind there as well. So I will definitely manage my time in such a way that I will be able to uh, give time to both the activities with full my heart.
Nice. So you're saying that your first priority is going to be learning and attending classes, and then your
Yes.
second priority would be to deal with if you get that position. That's good. That's a very good answer, Manu. Now, to corner you again, do you think if would you like to be in a country if your leader was also a part-time leader and not a full-time leader? Or
Uh,
would you be proud of a place that you are from if your leader says that no, my second priority is this particular role, my first priority is something else, could be anything, but that's the first priority. Would you be proud of that particular leader, or would you have any opinions about that person as well?
It mainly depends on what type of a country I am at that point living in. If it is India, then I would definitely prefer if the first priorities of the leader were the goodwill and the development of the people. But if it was a smaller country like some of the island nations and like Ireland or the Caribbean nations, then it would be acceptable at to some extent for the leader to have some personal other things as well, because in those countries the politics would not be to such a great extent, take such a great extent of their lives.
Okay, so on what basis have you named Ireland and the Caribbean countries? Is there a specific reason, or do you know their leaders are not full-time leaders? Is there any fact to back that?
I have read about the leaders of some of the countries, not all of the Caribbean countries, but some of the island nations where the leaders are also occupied in other jobs or
Right,
businesses.
right, right. So then, do you think they are doing a good job in developing those countries?
They have dedicated some time, and the I feel that they have dedicated the necessary amount of time to both of their jobs. And since these are almost very micro nations, so the requirement of politics is not that high.
Right. Okay. So I think we've steered the discussion in a completely different direction. Let's bring it back to Mr. Naman Vasist now. Naman, why are you interested in the IPL course? Why not try IPM?
Okay, sir. So I have been organizing events, and in those events, I have been managing teams myself for the past 4 years. And I have a keen interest, I have developed a growing interest for management. In this program, I will not only learn about management, I will also be told about I will also gain knowledge about the LLB, the law of India and international law as well. So I feel that the knowledge of management and the knowledge of law will be the perfect combination for me, for my skills to hone my skills in those two fields and achieve my goals in life.
Mhm. All right, but still, when you say that you are more keen towards management, wouldn't a course in management be uh, more towards your goal or would help you towards your goal?
The vast amount of knowledge that I will be gaining from this program
Mhm.
will, in some ways, help me towards achieving my goal of working more deeply in the management field.
Okay. Okay. Right. Uh, that's a good answer. Okay, let's talk about uh, what you've done. So, what is your keen interest among physics, chemistry, and maths? What would be you? What would you be more interested in?
Physics.
Physics. Okay. Uh, let's start with something basic in physics. Yeah. Why? So, what is easier, pushing an object or pulling an object, and why?
Pushing an object is, I feel, more easier. Um, it actually mainly depends on various factors like the force of friction, if it is present in that system, or uh, the type of object it is. Is it a spherical object, a circular object, or is it a
All right.
solid like sphere, or sorry, cube or something? So I think
Let's.
pushing
Uh-huh.
is easy.
Pushing is easier, but you're saying that the reason, the factors would be something else, is it? You're talking about friction, you're talking about the shape. Let's
Yes,
consider let's consider something, as basic as let's say you're pushing a table on a tile floor. So you understand the amount of friction it would have, and you also know about the shape of the object.
so pushing would be easy.
Okay. All right. Okay. Uh, Fine, not completely satisfied with that answer, but okay, let's move ahead. Uh, can you tell me one of the three Newton's laws? This is very basic.
Okay, so the first law of Newton is a body at rest remains at rest, and a body in motion continues to be in motion until and unless an external imbalance force is applied on it.
All right, super, super. And can you tell me an example of Newton's third law?
Okay, if I push a table,
Mhm.
the it goes ahead.
So Newton's third law says that, and what does the Newton's third law say? No?
Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Okay, so
Right. So when we are talking about equal and opposite reaction, us pushing a table and the table moving in that direction don't seem opposite to me.
yeah, okay, sorry, but another example I will give. If I fire a gun, the recoil will be towards the opposite direction.
Right. Right. Works. Although not equal though, right? Firing a gun, the bullet will cause more harm than the recoil of a gun to my shoulder, but I catch your drift.
Energy is lost in other ways as well.
Right. Super. One last question from physics. A brick weighing 1 kg or a kilogram of feathers dropped from the 12th floor of a building in, say, a city that is around the coast where there is, wind. What will fall to the ground sooner?
The brick.
Okay. Reason being?
The feathers will be affected by the wind. If it was in vacuum, the boats would have fallen at the same time. But the presence of wind and air resistance causes the feathers to fall slow.
Okay. So the weight being equal doesn't really matter here.
If the air is present, no.
Okay, but so for air to sway a brick of 1 kg and say a bag of feathers of 1 kg, wouldn't air take the same amount of efforts? Wouldn't the force applied by the air or the wind be the same?
The if you think about it, the break is more smaller. The feathers are in a group. If they are in a plastic bag, then I think no. But if they are just taken together and thrown, then the brick will fall sooner because air
Uh-huh.
resistance. Rather, I would think that if in a bag of feather as well, the feathers will fall slower than the brick because of air resistance. The brick is small.
Okay, let's not talk about air resistance. Let's throw that out of the situation. Let's say a brick and 1 kg brick and 1 kg of sponge.
Hmm.
What will reach the ground sooner?
The brick
Still the brick.
is.
So the sponge will, why would the sponge not reach sooner?
The air is still present.
But why wouldn't the air affect the brick is what I'm asking. Is there any specific reason?
Uh, there is, but I cannot recall it at this moment.
Okay. Okay. Correct. Seems fair. Uh, what is your thought about maths? So you've given our test. How well do you think you've scored in the quant section?
I think I scored well in the quant section. I had attempted 36 out of 40 questions, so
Right.
I would think a good number of them were correct.
Nice. Super. So let me ask you a question, okay? What is the value of uh, x to the power 5 minus y? Okay, so here's the expression x to the power 5 minus y when y is the smallest prime number which is divisible by 5. Do you want me to repeat this?
Just the value will be 1
Why so?
because the smallest prime number divisible by 5 is 5 and 5 minus 5 is 0 and x to the power 0 is 1.
Okay, so you're saying anything to the power 0 is 1
Yes,
always?
yes,
Okay. Nice. Okay. Uh, one more question then, shall we? Okay. Let's say we are looking at another algebra question if you're comfortable with it. Yeah? Okay.
yes.
M, there's the base M raised to the power, mm, M raised to the power 10 to the power 100 to the power 1000 to the power 10,000. Yeah, so it's a tree thing. Yes, m to the power 10 to the power 100 to the power 1000 to the power 10,000, and m is the smallest non-negative integer.
Zero. The answer will be zero.
Why so?
Because anything to the power of zero is zero.
No, I didn't get it. So you're saying 0 to any power is 0.
The smallest integer that is not negative is zero.
Okay.
So anything to the power zero, any power will be zero.
Acha, acha. That sounds right. Super. Very good, Naman. Now, I'll contradict you. No, you have contradicted yourself because I don't have to do anything. You said that anything to the power 1, anything to the power 0 is 1. And then you said 0 to any power is 0. Now, in the first question, if I were to tell you that x could be 0, what is your answer?
Uh, Answer should be one.
So 0 to the power 0 should be 1 is what you're saying.
Yes,
I'm basically multiplying 0 with itself, 0 number of times, and that should be 1. Isn't that contradicting though, right? You're saying 0 to any power should be 0. And then you're saying
mm,
any number to the power 0 should be 1. But 0 to the power 0, that's contradicting two rules, right?
it is.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. So, right. I'll give you the answer for that. 0 to the power 0 is undefined because there are two possibilities, right?
Okay.
Because anything to the power 0 is 1 and 0 raised to any power is 0. Since there is an intersection of both of these and there's a proper conflict of the rules, the answer would be undefined. So in the first case, you should have asked me when I said x to the power y minus 5, and we spoke about y, you should have asked me about x also, if I can give some extra information about x. Had x been 0, then the answer would have been undefined.
And
Super, Naman. Great, buddy. That this was a very good discussion. Do you have any questions for us?
I do not.
Right. Super. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Naman. All the very best for your future, buddy.
Should I leave?
नहीं नहीं we'll discuss now.
Achha. Okay.
Interview is done. Yeah, the mock part of the interview that is done. This is the whole reason why we are doing this. Okay. So let's start, Naman. First things first. Your presence on the screen is very good. So I'm assuming that physically also your presence is going to be that good. The second thing I want to talk about is maintaining eye contact when you're talking, how you have a smile on your face, even when I'm trying to, corner you, which is a very good plus. Normally, what happens is the moment there is a low in the interview, people's facial expression they start changing, but it seems fine with you, so you don't have to worry about those. Uh, let's talk about the answers that you've given. You were loud, you were clear. There was hardly any fumbling. There was hardly any, mistakes when you were talking. So that's another good sign. Now, as far as your answers are concerned, first, I really liked the way you spoke about Faridabad. That was something that I didn't expect, but you still gave me that information. I could know about it, but that was good. So what happened is when you add some additional information, me just saying that I'm from Faridabad ends the story there. But me adding an additional information there shows that you know the place that you are from, and that also opens an avenue up for me to take up the discussion, which is a very good thing. The second, when you spoke about your interest, that was also very good. You telling that you do have interest in something like Indian politics, geopolitics. That did, kind of strike as a thing that I would not expect a youngster be interested in. Because when you generally talk, so let's say if I were to interview 100 people, I would hardly get 5 or 6 people who are mature enough to take up an interest in such a thing. That was very good. You talking about being a part and organizing debate competitions, which was also a very good thing. But when I asked you the second time, okay, so this is something that you have to make a note of now. The second time when I had asked you what were your interests, after listening to you talking about your interests, you should have said, in addition to what I've already said, something else. Right. So when I said on a personal end, on a personal front, what are your interests? I wanted to know if you, apart from you doing curricular and co-curricular, were you involved in some extracurricular activities? Could be sports, could be anything on that end. And so maybe you can keep some backup there. The next thing is, yeah, like I said, I liked your take on politics. So one other thing that I want to add is, now this is optional. This depends upon different people, different interviewers and panels. But if you are, if you want some time to think about an answer, rather than just looking down, just ask them a permission. Can I take up 10 to 15 seconds to think about this so that I can collate the best way to answer? What that does is, that does not put me in a pickle, right? Like, does he know the answer or does he not know the answer? Should I move on to the next one, right? तो ये this will be a very good habit also. अपनी तरफ से भी एक अच्छा हैबिट हो जाता है कि आप परमिशन मांग रहे हैं कुछ करने के लिए, क्योंकि आप उनका टाइम लेते हैं ना. यू आर बेसिकली asking them, borrowing 10-15 more seconds of their time. तो ये अच्छा रहेगा करने के लिए. And अच्छा देखो, वैसे when you're saying that you are very, very interested in some particular thing, and then you don't know one other event to accompany it, that would become थोड़ा सा नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट पड़ता है उस पे, है ना. ऑल्दो आई वुड, इफ आई वेर द पैनल, आई वुड नॉट टेक दैट वेरी सीरियसली, बट इफ आई वेर टू आस्क यू 3 events, national and international politics, that could involve youth, you could have come up with anything. ठीक है. Also, the to be honest, the 2 events that you mentioned also was not very relevant. But ठीक है, फिर वो आप मतलब अपनी तरफ से देखिए कैसे, how it works for you. But as an answer, that was not the perfect way to answer. That's what I would say. Also, I like how you were diplomatic when you said alleged. So this is very good, right? You have to ensure that your discussion doesn't get steered away and it doesn't become a controversy there, right? You sharing your opinions but keeping in mind of the facts is very good. I really like that. That shows a lot of maturity. uh, ऑल्सो आपको पता चल गया था ना एट वन स्टेज के डिस्कशन, ऑफ द ट्रैक डीरेल हो चुका है ना. ट्रेन जो है कंप्लीटली डीरेल्ड एंड इट इज टेकन अ होल डिफरेंट डायरेक्शन. आपको क्या करना चाहिए? यू हैव टू ब्रिंग इट बैक. सो एज लॉन्ग एज यू आर कंफर्टेबल, एज लॉन्ग एज यू डोंट स्टार्ट फीलिंग कि द इंटरव्यूअर इज काइंड ऑफ ट्राइंग टू नेल यू, है ना. मैं दैट वाज व्हाट आई वाज ट्राइंग टू डू, राइट. आई वाज पुलिंग अप योर ओन स्टेटमेंट्स एंड ट्राइंग टू कॉन्ट्रडिक्ट योरसेल्फ. तो फिर ऐसे केस में आप क्या करोगे? ऑलवेज क्रिएट सम सेगवेज कि आप वापस इस डिस्कशन पे आ जाए और ये कोई पॉलिटिकल डिबेट ना बन जाए, है ना. सो व्हाट यू विल डू इज, यू विल ट्राई टू ब्रिंग इन कुछ ऐसा बोल के वापस इस ट्रैक पे ले आओ कि हाँ, वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट माय आईपीएम का इंटरव्यू. तो आप ऐसे एविडेंटली बोल नहीं सकते कि सर कैन वी प्लीज गेट बैक टू दैट, ऑब्वियसली नॉट. तो आप क्या करोगे? यू विल हिंट. यस, यू विल हिंट. तो जब मैंने आपको इसके लिए पकड़ा था कि will you be focusing more on your academics or on the politics, whatever answer you gave diplomatically was right. There's no right answer, wrong answer there. So whatever you gave was fine. But where how you would end this is try to circle it back, come back to here. Yes, K. Sir, after this interview, I said something, right? Try to bring it back to your discussion of your career and not that one particular interest alone. Now, आपको ये भी समझना पड़ेगा कि एक इंटरव्यू सुबह से, if yours is first, अगर आपका first है तो फिर that person would be fresh. But imagine if you are that panel's 20th or 30th interviewee. तो कैसे होगा? The entire interview is, it could turn out to be a practical roast or a prank also sometimes. Okay, so you have to be careful that you don't fall for those traps. ठीक है. I liked how you continued saying that जो भी आपने पहला opinion रखा वही throughout रखा, which is a very good trait. Uh, yeah, that was good. So I like the diplomacy. I like you saying that your aim is still learning. है ना? ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि down the line if you get something more interesting happening, then you are like, नहीं यार पढ़ाई will drop ले लेंगे, I'll leave. So that was good. One other आई वुड से कि एक नेगेटिव आपके आंसर में था दैट यू नेम्ड नेशंस, है ना, आपने जब व्हेन यू सेड आइलैंड्स एंड व्हेन यू सेड कैरिबियन नेशंस, I would want you to be a little more diplomatic there or back yourselves with a fact. यस, तो अब आप जैसे अगर आपने बोला कि आइलैंड में या करीबन नेशंस में ऐसा हो रहा है, सो ईदर यू बैक इट विथ अ प्रूफ दैट दिस पर्टिकुलर लीडर इज ऑल्सो दिस, ये क्या करता है, दिस विल शट मी अप अबाउट इट ना, अब मैं उसके बारे में पूछूंगा नहीं बिकॉज यू गिवन मी अ लाइव एग्जांपल ऑफ दैट, राइट? सो ट्राई टू accompany your opinions with facts that will try to put a full stop there and the other person will not dig deeper. The deeper the interviewer digs into your answer, you should know you're getting in trouble. है ना? He is not convinced with your answer and that's why this is going. ठीक है? तो ये आपको ध्यान में रखना. So if you are naming nations, please be very sure that you have facts accompanying that. ठीक है? चलेगा ना? ओके, अब चलते हैं एकेडमिक्स पे. सो इट वाज मी हु अगेन ट्राई टू ब्रिंग इट बैक हियर, तो आपको थोड़ा सा ध्यान में, यू हैव टू बी केयरफुल कि यू नो डोंट लेट द इंटरव्यू गेट डीरेल्ड कंप्लीटली अनलेस एंड अंटिल यू आर, यू नो, अगर आपके बेनिफिट में है तो चलेगा. आई यू अंडरस्टैंडिंग? अगर आपके बेनिफिट में है, वो जो भी क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा है, इंटरव्यू अच्छा चल रहा है, डिस्कशन अच्छा चल रहा है, हेल्दी में चल रहा है, एंड यू सी दी अदर पर्सन बीइंग कन्विंस्ड विथ योर आंसर, तब तक ठीक है. But the moment you know that they are trying to form a wall against you, they're trying to corner you, तब आपको ध्यान में रखना है कि आपको you have to bring it back to track some way or the other. कुछ segue आपको create करके वापस इधर लेके आना है. चलो अब एकेडमिक्स में आते हैं. बेसिक्स ऑफ फिजिक्स, जब आपने बोला पीसीएम में आपका सबसे फेवरेट फिजिक्स है, यस, सबसे कॉमन क्वेश्चन डोंट यू थिंक इज दिस, पुशिंग एंड पुलिंग ऑफ एन ऑब्जेक्ट? हाँ, एंड आपके लिए एकदम फ्रेश है, राइट? इट्स वेरी फ्रेश फॉर यू. अगर मैं एक, let's say if I were to ask an engineering graduate जिसने फिजिक्स पढ़ के काफी टाइम हो गया है, राइट, या अगर मैं किसी बीबीए ग्रेजुएट को पूछता, तब अलग बात है कि सर बहुत टाइम हो गया, अब तो याद. यू आर फ्रेश ऑफ द अवन. तो अब जब मैं आपको ये बेसिक क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा हूँ, पुशिंग एंड पुलिंग ऑफ एन ऑब्जेक्ट, यू हैव टू बी कॉन्फिडेंट है. आपको कॉन्फिडेंस दिखाना है ना, आपको यू हैव टू ब्रश अप योर बेसिक्स बच्चा. दिस इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट बिकॉज और क्या है बात करने के लिए, समझ में आ रहा है? फॉर समबडी हु इज, यू नो, 17 18 years old, उस उनको पूछने के लिए एकेडमिक्स के अलावा ज्यादा कुछ रहेगा नहीं. सो फॉर इन योर केस इट वाज अ डिफरेंट थिंग बिकॉज यू स्ट्राइक द कॉन्वर्सेशन रिलेटिंग पॉलिटिक्स, और फिर अपन वो डायरेक्शन पकड़ लिए थे, बट नॉर्मली ये नहीं रहता. सो देन दे विल कम अप विथ, यू नो, प्री प्रिपेयर्ड सेट ऑफ क्वेश्चन जो यू हैव टू बी रेडी टू आंसर दैट. ठीक है? तो अभी चेक करके फिर देख लेना आंसर क्या है उसका. ओके, पुलिंग एन ऑब्जेक्ट इज इजियर कंपेयर टू पुशिंग because of the angle at which you're applying the force. ठीक है? वो you brush up on that concept and other concepts also. So when I asked you Newton's first law, you stated the law very clearly, which gave me an impression कि boss book का definition you are clear and aware of. But the moment I asked you for an example, फिर आपने वो गलत example दे दिया, है ना? So ये, what do you think? So if I were to make a, you know, a chart of your characteristic, which side will I put you on? Book knowledge या practice?
बुक.
हाँ, तो ये नहीं होने देना है ना. You could be, no, there's nothing wrong in being a bookworm, or there's nothing wrong in sticking to the subject alone. But then you have to show them that you are practical also. ठीक है? That's why मैंने बहुत ही basic rule उठाया. I did not pick up any, you know, complex rule or anything. But I liked your reasoning that you stuck to your answer. That was a very good thing. ठीक है? अब मैथ्स भी आपको देखना है. यू हैव टू बी, यू नो, वेरी क्लियर, वेरी अवेयर ऑफ द काइंड ऑफ ट्रैप्स. आप समझ रहे हो ना, इतना अगर बेसिक कोई क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हैं तो देयर हैज टू बी अ रीजन बिहाइंड. वरना यार, ट्वेल्थ आपने क्लियर, आपके कितने आए थे परसेंटेज? हाउ मच डू यू ट्वेल्थ में?
77.
हाँ, so seven, that's a good thing, right? So 77 in a subject, and then you are saying that हाँ, this is प्रैक्टिकल अवेयरनेस बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है, करेक्ट? तो थोड़ा अपने स्किन में कंफर्टेबल रहो, विच यू सीन. अदरवाइज व्हेन यू आर आंसरिंग, जब भी आपको कुछ लगता है कि दे आर ट्राइंग टू, यू नो, लपेटोफाई यू इन अ पर्टिकुलर ट्रैप, थोड़ा सा सेल्फ अवेयर रहो एंड देन ट्राई टू फिगर आउट could there be some correlation to that? ठीक है. बाकी I like your confidence. I was super proud of you during the interview, and I like the way you expressed yourself, words and all, vocab, language में कोई issue नहीं है. You don't have to worry about that. So that was a good thing. Thank you so much, Naman. I think this was a very good learning lesson for you, but at the same time, जो बाकी स्टूडेंट्स भी जो ये इंटरव्यू देखेंगे उनको भी बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिलेगा फ्रॉम दिस पर्टिकुलर इंटरेक्शन दैट वी हैड. बहुत बढ़िया. ऑल द वेरी बेस्ट. चीयर्स बड़ी.
Thank you.
गुड लक.
Thank you very much, sir.